Hi guys, I wanted to do a little update on our cider and mead. Here's the mead. It's bubbling slowly. So it's coming to an end, and it's been what, 2.5 weeks, I think. Here's an apple cider. Oh, just missed the bubble, darn it. Here's an apple cider. It's bubbling away happy. That's 5 gallons. Here's another apple cider. It's just apple juice with yeast and sugar. This one has brown sugar. This one is pineapple. We'll come back to that in a minute. Here's the one that I made on camera for you. This is the Juicy Juice Easy Cider. I did replace the balloon with a bubbler, and it's slowing down, so it's getting done. But you can see there's still, it's fermenting in there. It's not clearing up a lot, but it wasn't a very clear juice to start with, so we'll see how that works out. Then we have some, this one's it's got apple juice. It's ocean spray. It's got apple juice. It has grape juice, white grapes, cranberries, and strawberries. And it tastes really yummy, so we're hoping that that'll turn out pretty good. And I want to show you the difference in the yeast and talk about that for a minute. This one has daddy yeast in it, which is for distilling grains, sour mashes and stuff at a high temperature. And it creates sulfur gases. A lot of people say it makes crappy wine, but I don't think so. And that's my opinion. But you do have to do a little steps. You're going to have to degas it a lot. And so I'll get into that here in just a minute. And then this, let me show you the different kinds of yeast. So this one has D47 in it. And you can kind of see it's making some bigger bubbles. It's working pretty vigorously. Not quite the same as that. That one makes a bunch of little tiny bubbles. And if we switch over here to this one has it's the same juice as this first one, the one with the D47 yeast. It has some Red Star classic wine yeast in it. And see, it makes a lot of little tiny bubbles. It doesn't ferment as hard. And each one of those is going to give your wine a little bit different flavor. Now what I was getting to was, people will say daddy yeast can't make good wine or anything. And it's just, in my opinion, it's simply not true. Let's see. You may have to wait a minute, give it a little more time to age some of the flavors out, because it's going to ferment it down like a champagne yeast to it's going to take all the sugar. It'll eat it all up. You can go pretty high with this. If you do, and I'm not going to get into all that, how to get the highest ABV and all that. That's not our goal. Let's see. So what I wanted to show you was this pineapple. And we'll talk about it for a minute before I open it up. I put the pineapple on. Let's see, I used like 2 gallons, I think, 2.5 gallons of the frozen concentrate pineapple juice. So obviously it wasn't frozen. I had to add the water to it, and I used spring water. And then I put in a 1/2 gallon of Dole, like pineapple juice. It looked like it was in a container just like that cider over there. And that one has vanilla in it. So some vanilla beans during the ferment. So we're kind of interested to see how that will come out. And then I used a gallon can of Dole pineapple juice. And the difference was that canned juice said 100% juice. Nowhere on the can did it say it was made from concentrate. So that one was just straight pineapple juice put in the can and then sealed up. So anyway, we put that on and pitched the yeast, and it does have daddy yeast in it. And man, that thing fermented like hard as anything I've ever seen. By that night, I had it in a 5-gallon bucket, and it started foaming up through the airlock. So I had to transfer it into a bigger bucket, into a bucket like that, and then it came just right up to it, but it didn't go out anymore, and I didn't have to put a blow off tube in it. And that bubbler was just like a machine gun. It was just super fast. It was bubbling harder than anything I've ever seen. So I should have went on airplane mode. I'm getting all kinds of messages and stuff. But then it only took not even quite a week for it to quit moving. And let's see, the pineapple juice had a gravity of 1.054, and when I put sugar in it, I stopped at 1.095, and then there wasn't much movement in the airlock, so I opened it up and I transferred it back into a smaller vessel, and I added 5 cups of sugar, and it fermented down to 0.990. So it just ripped right through all that sugar. And let's see, then I added 5 cups of sugar, which brought it up to 1.020. And so what it tasted like was it was definitely hot, a lot of alcohol, probably 13.5%, something like that, if I figured it right, when it got done fermenting the first time. And let's see, it was sour. All the sugar was gone, and pineapple has a lot of acid in it, so that was definitely present. And that's why I back sweetened it. And at the end of that original flavor, it was dry, and on an after note, you've got a nice pineapple-y taste. And then I back sweetened it with that sugar, and it was just so yummy. And also, in order to do that, I stirred it for like 10 minutes, as hard as I could with my little stir paddle thing over there. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll get it back out. And we're going to do that again. And because now we're in secondary. And we'll take another reading and see if we're at the same level, if it's stopped fermenting or not, since I added more sugar. And one of the things, that's all you have is some daddy yeast on hand, and you don't want to buy anything special to make some wine, or you don't need to have some bread yeast to use, you can use daddy yeast to just do a lot of degassing. And if you don't mind spending a little time in the bottle, or secondary, whatever you want to do it in, let it have some time to age, and it'll be some pretty good wine, or cider, whatever it is you want to make. Okay, I'm gonna stop this and we'll open the bucket up. Okay, here we are inside the fermenter, and see we have a gravity reading of 1.020. So that's the exact same as it was yesterday, and we need to do that 3 days in a row, or you could wait a week in between, like take a reading, wait a week, take another reading. But I want to, since I did use the daddy yeast, like I said, I'm going to degas it. So all that degas is a fancy zoom back. So see out here, it's fairly clear already, and that's after being racked yesterday and stirred pretty hard, vigorously. Let's see. Everything's been sterilized. Let's do a little taste. I think I want a little bit more. get a nice shot glass full here. Let's see, ideally I guess I would have a different kind of glass, but I just grabbed this one, so that's fine. It's got kind of a big nose on it. So, definitely kind of hazy, but that will all clear out given a little time. And it'll be a nice clear cider, but for being what it is, it's pretty clear. It's actually clearer than the juice that went in there to start with. So, smelling, let's see, I get a can definitely smell the alcohol, and then just a pineapple wine flavor. A little bit of the sulfide still. I'm gonna take a sip. Let's see, it tastes. Let me try it again. Okay, the first, like, definitely hot. It's definitely got the alcohol in it, you can tell that. And just a good sweet pineapple flavor. Boozy pineapple flavor. Fruity. It's really good. And let me come back in just a couple of minutes and let me show you. No, I'll just do it right now. We'll do it right here while we got it on cam and get this little update done. Okay, taking the hydrometer out. Let's see, you could definitely take your hydrometer reading in a cylinder, but my bucket's deep enough to do that. I sterilize the hydrometer, so I feel comfortable in doing that. See just that little bit? Watch it start to foam up. You can see all that foam happening. That's all the carbon dioxide and the not so good smells coming out of there. So that's it. I'm just going to keep whipping that for a while, and then I'll come right back at the very end of this. There we go. See all that gas escaping? There's a lot in there. There we go. I whipped that into a frenzy, and it's not. See, it's bubbling a little, and that's just that stuff that I whipped up. It's not fermenting anymore, or it hasn't so far for a day. Probably more than a day, a couple of days, but I just started taking a reading yesterday. And so that's, even though it would have probably been nice to have a little more volume in this for the headroom on a secondary fermentation, secondary fermenter, you want not that much head space, as little as you can get away with. But since I whipped all that CO2 up in there and degassed it, it will, there's no oxygen. It's displacing all that. And it'll make a nice CO2 blanket on there. We won't have to worry about oxidation or an oxygen-rich environment for bacteria and stuff to grow in. So we're pretty good there. And that was really it. That's our little update and a little yeast education there for you. I guess a recap, you could use whatever yeast you want. It's just some will work better than others, but at the same time, don't let people discourage you or tell you can't do this. One of the things that I don't like about, if you're interested in doing this and you don't know much, and you go to some of the brewing forums and stuff, there's a lot of snobby people on there. They tend to jump on you, I guess, sometimes if you ask the wrong questions they don't like, or maybe you ask that you're new and you ask a question, they're like, oh, you should go to the new forum and ask that, which you really should probably, research things, and if you can't find out, go to there to find an answer. But because when you're doing research on it, trying to find something out, whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to find a bunch of other information, which is also useful. And the more you know, the better you are at successfully completing whatever task you want to complete, right? So that's not a bad thing, but at the same time, there's lots of ways to do things, and a lot of things boil down to preference. And I don't like how people tell someone they shouldn't do something when it could actually work just fine, or they may like the end results of what that'll happen. So you can use whatever yeast you like. It's just some yeast will give you different results, and none of them are probably bad. Just some are better than others, and someone's bad result may be something you think is amazing. There's no right or wrong answer to a lot of this stuff. Where I guess that's it. On the forums, I see a lot of people making things into a right or wrong, and that turns people off. So with that, I'm just going to end this. Just a quick little video. And our next one will probably be me bottling the cider. I want to recarbonate some of it and bottle it, and I will show you how to do that. And I showed you the pasteurization way of how we're going to put it in the bottles, but I'll also show you how we're going to carbonate it and know that it's the right carbonation amount in the bottles and all that, and make a neat little video out of that too as well. And then finally at the very end, we'll show you how the apple, pear, kiwi, strawberry, juicy juice cider turned out. Okay, so we will talk to everyone later, and lots of love. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye.